Okay, YouTubers, I'm often making videos of how much power things use, so it made me think. So right now it's plugged in and I'm pretty sure nothing's on. Okay, everything is off except this plug-in, probably charging the batteries, and what I have here is one of those monitors you plug into the wall. So unplug the RV. I've plugged it into this monitor and it's pulling 15.7 watts, and that should just be charging, sending a charge to the batteries because nothing else is powered on. I'm going to get a pencil and paper and try to figure out how much power things use. And this could be interesting because some of these things I'm not sure how it's going to draw. So I'm going to start with just one light. I've turned nothing else on, and that's a LED light. So that's just 1.5 watt. Okay, so I've turned on every single light I have in here, even the little ones in the back. That one under here. That's all my lights. Let's go see what that's drawing. Okay, every single light in there is drawing 135 watts, which is basically 120. You know, you can do the math. I can put a sheet in there with the exact. And obviously yours are going to be different, but I'm going to turn the big light off and see how much that is. Or actually, I'm going to turn them all off and then turn just the big light and see how much it draws. Okay, turning all the lights. Now that's a real bulb, that's not an LED bulb, so that's drawing more power than these ones. I think one of these might be a non-LED bulb, one that I never use. I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to turn that off and leave just this big one on and see how much that's drawing. Alright, so with the big light on, which works out to be 40.2 watts, it's going to fluctuate a little bit at its base state on how much it's putting into the batteries. Now I'm going to go do the Fantastic Fan. This would be much easier if I had that closer. Okay, I'm going to turn it on 1. And that is showing 35.7 watts. Works out to be 20 watts on low. Okay, now we're going to go to medium. And that's showing me 45.7, we'll call it, which is like 31 watts on medium. And we're going to go up to high. Let's see what that does. And 56.6 is basically 41 watts. Okay, so now we know what the fan's doing. Okay, I'm going to turn it off now. And why I'm kind of doing this too is if you have a decent inverter, it might be possible to power some things that normally won't run straight off your battery. Obviously your fan will. But, and all the things I've done so far are going to run off your battery. But some of the other things I'm going to check, see how much power that they take. Such as, and not only how much power they take if you were try to get creative and run it off an inverter, but if you don't have 30 amp, if you're just plugging into 110 at somebody's house or wherever you can find 110, it's good to know how much power you're going to get. I'm going to put this on heat, and I got it set as warm as it'll go. Let's go see how much power that's pulling. Probably a lot. Okay, so that is the heat option on the AC unit. Running 1500. And you can do subtraction to get it just under 1500, but basically you're using 1500 watts. Alright, let's go change that to AC and see how much that's pulling. Turn it to cool. I'm going to put it on low AC. It's pulling, it's changing around pretty good. We're calling that 800, 816. See if I'll give it a minute, see if it stabilizes. Okay, it's bouncing everywhere. 884. It was down in the 700s. Okay, now it's over 900. So just for giggles, I'm going to call it 950. Got above 950. Well, it seems to fluctuate quite a bit. Maybe I end up calling it 1000. I'll try it on medium. If it doesn't pop my breaker, which it probably will. See? There's 970. I'm going to call it 1000. Okay, let's see if it will go without popping. And on that, we're calling it 1068. I'll round up to be safe, but it looks like it's staying in the 1080s, but I'll call it 1100 just for my own personal. Well, it's going to get there, isn't it? that's medium. I'm going to go to high. And that's pulling 1200 watts. It's probably going to go up a bit. Alright, I called it 1230 just to be safe. That's about where it's sticking. Now I'm going to go turn it just on the fan, not AC. Now we're just going to go to the fan. Okay, there's the fan on low on the RV. That's 1270. And again, minus 15.7, 16. And to fan medium. I'll put a page in there with all the calculations, mainly for myself, but because obviously if you're wondering about stuff like this on yours, they're all going to be different. Alright, and high. Minus 15, so 326. Okay, now it's reading 16.8 with everything off. So what I want to try now, which I was interested in, was the fridge. Okay, here's the fridge. Put it to AC, and that's pulling 202 watts. Now this is a 3-way refrigerator, which means it runs off propane, normal shore power, and it'll run off DC. Which, to be honest, when running off of DC, it's pretty much when you're driving running it off the alternator, because it's gonna suck a battery bank down pretty quick. And even then, most people claim when it's in DC, it's almost like a maintenance mode. Stuff better be really cold in there to start with, and then it might help maintain it a little bit, but you're not really gonna get things cold on DC mode. It would make it possible to run the refrigerator off an inverter. And for me, what I take that to mean is there's your shore power hookup. As you can see, I got a converter so it'll run off a 110. So instead of running that to power, you could run that to an inverter off your battery banks if you had to see if you could run your fridge that way. That is my wondering on how many other things you could run off your inverter. Basically plugging your RV into an inverter and running off batteries to get that stuff. And actually, I'll turn this off. Actually, 200 watts to run the refrigerator isn't that bad. I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit higher. Okay, and as I said before, I understand that I'm not going to be able to run a lot of these things off an inverter, but I'm also wondering just how much power stuff uses. So let's do that. And as we all know, microwaves use a lot. There's 1087 to do a microwave, because even with my generator, I can't usually run AC and microwave at the same time because I got a 2000 watt generator. Okay, and I know this is pointless too. Again, the only real reason I did this is because I wondered how much power my refrigerator used. That was my main thing. And when I tripped the breaker the other day, it was only a 15 amp breaker. I had the heat option going on that, and I plugged in a little heater fan, and as soon as I plugged it in, I tripped the breaker. So it just made me wonder. And I've done all kinds of wattage tests on things that I plug in, but not things that are built in to the RV, so I figured I would do that. So I just put a little bit of water in this. It's on and starting to brew. Let's see what it does, just for giggles. And coffee pots, as we know, take a lot too. So that's 748, we'll call it 750, and I'll do the math and add it all to the sheet. There we go, YouTubers. There's a little idea of how much power things inside your RV actually use. I'm sure there's probably a better way to get a really accurate reading on levels, but for me personally, this is going to give me a good idea of knowing what I can do and how much power I'm using. And if there's ever a chance that using an inverter for my onboard batteries will work. Seems like the fridge, I could get that to work for a bit. If you're running off solar panels, I might be able to power it that way. Alright, YouTubers, have a great and wonderful day.